Why we lend? Why should someone consider joining we lend as a loan originator? What makes us stand out? What can they do? How can that bring them value? I want you to kind of tell us a little bit more about the culture at we lend and why it would make sense to join we lend. What makes us so different and flexible to be able to execute for a borrower to close in under, like you said, 12 hours.
Yeah.
How does it possible? This is how you're gonna convince this guy to take these terms, and this is why these terms make sense for him. Because a lot of times, the borrowers don't understand, why would I take a loan from we lend? And sometimes the answer is because we can provide you also a DSCR product right after. We're gonna structure the loan.
We lend is a no-nonsense, common sense lender. Because it's true.
I love it.
It's true. At the end of the day, that's just what it is, right?
Nonsense,
we're not
common
looking
sense. Is that
for
what you said?
hairy deals.
Goodness, I gotta write this down.
Yeah, it's a no-nonsense, common sense
I love
lender.
it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the We Talk, but most importantly, We Lend podcast. I have my dear friend Jeff, who has been a friend of mine since 15,
high school, yeah.
14, 15
Since
years
high school.
old.
That's right.
Jeff, if you could introduce yourself, it would be a pleasure to hear exactly who you are, what you do, and what role you play here at we lend.
Well, thank you for having me on this amazing podcast. My name is Jeff Safi. I'm the sales manager here at we lend.
How long have you been with
here
us?
for a while. I was just thinking,
Right? It's been a while.
Since 2018.
Goodness.
Since
how did it happen?
inception.
I mean, I know how it happened, but our listeners don't. How did it happen?
So I remember I was in a whole other industry. I was getting sick and tired of it. And we actually met at a wedding one night. And I was like, Rubes, I'm sick and tired of this industry I'm in. I want to get into real estate. And I remember the first thing you said is read these books. You gave me these few books to read. Once you read these books.
Did you actually read those books though? Because
I saw the videos.
Every time, sometimes YouTube summaries are amazing. Every time anyone asks me, like, what should I do? What direction should I go? I think the first thing that I always give them advice on is go read these books.
Yeah.
So I'm like that guy. But yeah, so you didn't read those books.
But I think I got the video version and the audio version on YouTube and audiobooks. But I fell in love with it right away. I love the fact that it allowed us to have flexibility. Right, it allowed us to do a lot of different things. Real estate is so broad. That's the best part about it. So when I got my real estate license, I actually became a rental agent in the city for 6 months.
I remember
ran
seeing
around like a
headshot.
headless chicken, man, across on the whole city on foot.
Were you going on public transportation, or were you actually driving there every day? Because I know you're very big on that.
No, so I was doing public transportation.
Right.
It was very expensive back then.
The subways are real, especially in today's political climate.
Absolutely, and I realized really quickly that's not what I wanted to do.
It's tough, man.
Yeah. I realized that I wanted to be more on the investment side. And I was like, who do I know that's a real estate investor, that's a mover and shaker,
At that time, that's exactly what we were doing.
Yep.
We were buying, selling, flipping, developing.
That's
It was
right.
actually the early stage of we lend. This was, like late 2017, early 2018, right? If I remember correctly.
Correct.
And we just had a soft launch for we lend. It wasn't even launched or anything to that effect. We were literally calling our friends and family saying, hey, look, I know we were competing on deals to buy and flip in the whole nine. We're no longer your competitor. We're now your lender. Call us if you will have a deal. So, but it's a pleasure to have you here for so many years. You've been a rock star and a team member that's been a huge value to the company. So tell us in your own words, I mean, with you being here for so many years now, seeing all the ins and outs, all the intricacies of the group, of we lend, of our capital partners and so on, what makes we lend stand out in the market today? Other than the fact that we're the most good-looking guys in the business, but other than that, what makes us stand out?
The best part about we lend is we lend was started by investors for investors.
Oh wow, I like that.
You know what I mean?
We got to coin that.
So wonderful part about it was that when I came in here and started to learn this business, I was taught by investors to think like an investor, to help investors.
You have to see their lens. You have to see their viewpoint. You want to see and understand why they want such high leverage with such low rates, no points in the whole nine. You have to see their perspective, because if you don't, then are you really truly providing value to your clients, to your borrowers, right? And I don't really like to use that term borrowers, because a lot of times it's not just them borrowing. They're our clients, right? They're our bread and butter.
100%.
But while we're wearing the hat of providing service to our clients, our borrowers, we also have to wear the hat of being a good lender to our investors, right?
Correct.
Because we obviously have a lot of friends and family who've invested, many of whom know you and you know them. So having that balancing act is not easy, but it's critical, right? Is to be providing the service to your clients, but most importantly, really having that fiduciary duty to your investors.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
it was created by investors for investors, and that's why we have such significant value to the borrowers.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, if you look at it, right, an investor that comes over here, he's not talking to hedge fund guys.
Right.
He's not talking to guys that only care about numbers.
Agreed.
Right? Because
Agreed.
at the end of the day, before we even hear the numbers, we ask the client, tell me about the deal.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Yeah.
What do you want?
How many? I'm curious because I have this all the time, right? I mean, how many times have you had situations where a borrower really thought the deal was a home run, right? I mean, this is the deal. This is where the deals are going, and this is why it makes sense. And we're going to sell this thing for $2 million. We're only buying it for 50% of LTV. Like, how many of those scenarios did you have? I mean, how many times have you sseen that?
Way
And what
too many.
guidance did you give the borrower to say, hey, look, the deal is not what you think it is, right? And you should stay away from
Right.
a 1,000-foot pole.
Right. So the best part about that is, you have clients coming in here saying, hey, I'm buying a property for 500.
Right.
I'll put 200 into it. I'll sell it for $1 million. I'll make 300 grand.
Right.
But then, thanks to our proprietary calculators,
Which we worked really hard to put together, and it's ever evolving.
Yep.
It's never ending.
and we kind of take into account every single calculation, right?
Right.
From selling costs, carrying costs,
Correct.
overhead, taxes,
Correct.
insurance, brokers,
contingencies,
everything.
Right?
12
Things
month,
go wrong.
12
Things
month,
go wrong.
hold
and-
times.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I always tell the borrower, I'm like, look, I priced this loan out on a 12-month hold time.
Correct.
If you sell it in less than 6 months, great.
Amazing.
But if it makes sense at 12 months, everything else beyond that is a bonus.
Exactly.
So that $300,000 profit that
But
you
what
thought you're
happens if
making,
it doesn't make sense in 12 months? Because I think we've just posted something about that recently on our Wheeland page, right? Where a deal came in, I think it was in New Jersey. A deal came in, the borrower was a superstar borrower, right? They knew exactly what they were doing. They've borrowed from us in the past multiple times. The deal just didn't pencil out on a 12-month time frame. It was a losing deal on a 12-month time frame. So what I remember is that we underwrote that deal with a 6-month timeline.
Correct.
And it still broke a profit. Actually broke a very nice profit. I think it was over like $30,000 for the investor in a 6-month time frame with like almost a 45% ROI if you kind of calculate it that way. So essentially we become flexible, right? We underwrite deals
Absolutely.
with flexibility in mind based on the borrower's experience, based on the borrower's situation, and so on. And that's very important as a lender. And like you said, by investors for investors.
correct. And Wheeland is a no-nonsense, common sense lender. And I
Man,
use
where
that
are you
line-
coming out with all these
I use
punchlines
these lines
today?
all the time, man. I swear to God. Because it's true.
I love
it's
it.
true. At the end of the day, that's just what it is, right?
No nonsense,
We're not
common
looking
sense. Is that
for
what you said?
hairy deals.
Goodness, I gotta
it's-
write this down.
Yeah, it's a no-nonsense, common sense
I love
lender.
it. I love it. Yeah.
We're not looking at, all these crazy numbers
Yeah.
and what's this and what's that. Listen, we look at the property, we look at the asset, right? We don't care about your bank statements. We don't care about your tax returns. We don't care how much you make, where you work.
It plays a role. Obviously, it's helpful.
Yeah.
It plays a role, but not significantly, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
our biggest concern is the asset. We look at what they're buying it for, what the exit price is,
Right.
and are we going to be safe, right? Are we first lien positions? Are we personally guaranteed? These are kind of like the things that we're looking for, not what separates us from others, right? We are a true asset-based lender.
Exactly.
And I know we have a lot of programs out there. Like we have a DSCR program, a bank statement program. Obviously, we're a fix and flip lender, right? And I think that a lot of times, a lot of our borrowers and clients and people and brokers, we see a lot of business from brokers, they view us as only a fix and flip lender for 1 to 4 units, which is not true.
That is
it
not
used
true
to be
at
the
all.
case at some point, right?
That's where we started.
That's where we started. Don't get me
that's
wrong.
where we
That's
started,
exactly where we started. But that's no longer the case
Growth
anymore.
is amazing.
Exactly.
Growth is
Exactly.
amazing.
So
And we broaden our horizons. We have way too many programs
Yeah.
because I tell
too much
clients,
to manage it sometimes.
like
you know?
when clients call me and say, hey, what do you lend on?
Right.
I tell them anything that's a real estate investment.
Yeah.
They said, what do you mean? I said, as long as you're not living there, I can do it.
Exactly.
And so anything from your basic fix and flips
Yeah.
to your multifamily buy and holds
Yeah.
to your condo conversions
Yeah.
to foreclosure bailouts, which
Yeah.
has been getting a lot of traction recently due to the unfortunate market corrections.
Yeah.
So let's talk about commercial properties. We
Please.
started doing that recently as well.
Please.
That's amazing too.
Yeah.
We're doing commercial properties now. We're doing retail strips.
Yeah.
We're doing mixed use properties with no residential to commercial component
Ratios,
requirements.
yeah, it's no longer because a lot
So-
of lenders when they're doing mixed use, they want to see at least 50% of
51
residential.
residential.
Right?
That's where we were.
51%.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's no longer the case
Nope.
with Wheeland,
No
right?
more.
We'll do a mixed use property regardless of what the ratios are. We're not
Exactly.
really looking at it. Again, we're looking at the sponsor. We're looking at the asset. So you've touched on a lot of good points, right? So we're doing now retail. We're doing mixed use. We're doing multifamily. How high can we go on the unit count on the multifamily side? Probably no restrictions, right?
I mean, I did a loan, when was it, a couple of years ago, we did something in Myrtle Beach, 110 units. We converted an extended stay hotel into a multifamily, a residential multifamily asset.
So the borrower there, to our listeners, actually was buying a long stay hotel that went bankrupt. This was like...
Mind you, it was just built. It was only like 7-8 years old.
I mean, the thing
was a brand new building.
In really good condition. The borrower swooped it up, and he was an experienced operator. He bought it at a very good basis. He literally, his play there was just to convert it to a bunch of studios and single bedroom apartments.
He didn't even convert it. It was
already structured. There was kitchens in there. There were bathrooms in there.
The only rehab he said I want to do is landscaping and the lobby. He's like, every room has a kitchen, every room has a bathroom.
And those deals are not easy to come by.
No, absolutely not. I mean, those deals come by, experienced operators, people that really are out there looking for deals.
So we funded that deal. Back to that point, right? We funded that deal. We saw the borrower get to the finish line. They made a killing on it. And they came back with a lot more deals. So obviously multifamily, we'll do conversions, condo conversions, we'll do retail, we'll do mixed use. So we're not just a 1 to 4 unit lender, and we're not just a fix and flip lender. You mentioned DSCRs.
Correct. What
the hell is that? Hey, why don't we explain to the listeners
DSCR
what is a DSCR
is the
product?
best thing since sliced bread, man.
Unbelievable.
So DSCR loan essentially is made for investors that are looking to own rental income properties. And the best part about it, no income check. No DTI requirement. No.
From the borrower's personal standpoint, we don't care if they have a W-2 job or not. I mean, most of them probably don't.
Exactly. Right? Basically, underwrite the actual asset, right? Is it cash flowing? What's the income it's collecting? What's the value of the property? What are the expenses of the property? If it cash flows,
does the property actually need to be cash flowing at that time? Can we finance the deal if it's not cash flowing?
We could. We do have other options.
Is it based on projected cash flow?
Correct. Right? So if you're, let's say, buying an asset, right, that's vacant, we'll go based on the market rent. We'll do an appraisal. We'll go based on the market rent. If you're doing a refinance, we'll look at the in-place rents. We'll look at the market rents. We'll look at the lease rents. We'll make sure things line up. And as long as it makes sense, right? Like I said, it's common sense. Because numbers are numbers. 1 + 1 = 2 in every country.
Sometimes it equals 3 too.
Depends what you ask. And how much they drank.
So the DSCR product has really been picking up on our end, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of business. I think at some point, obviously, short-term bridge, RTL, right? Fix and flip loans have been a good 80, 90%, sometimes even 100% of our business. I would say today we're almost at a 50-50 kind of structure, right? Where 50% of it is DSCR loans, the other 50% is fix and flip. So we feel, and I'm seeing this trend today, a lot of our borrowers now are turning to the DSCR product than just a conventional product, right? Why?
Absolutely.
Because they don't want to go through that whole bureaucracy that these other banks have, right? They want to take a look at their tax returns. They want to see their W-2.
Every document is the day they were born.
They want their firstborn child to sign on the documents, right? They want to cross every T and dot every I. And a lot of our borrowers, they're not really set up for that, right? They're full-time real estate investors. They're out on the field looking for deals that make sense, right? So providing that DSCR product is really helping them take it to the next level. Absolutely. And what I'm starting to notice is a lot of borrowers today, they were more on the fix and flip side. Now they're in the fix, rent, and refinance, and then repeat side, right?
Absolutely.
So they're literally just trying to buy properties that are going to help them create generational wealth, pass that on to their kids, to their family, and so on, and be able to have cash flow on a monthly and consistent basis. Today, I would say most of our borrowers, I was looking at this a couple of weeks ago, I would say a good 80% of our loans today are to experienced operators. But we don't only work with experienced operators, do we?
No, we don't only work with experienced operators. We actually work with brand new investors as well. And we kind of like them too. You know, I know a lot of companies shy away from it.
Right.
A lot of companies don't want to work with new investors.
How do we mitigate our risk with novice new investors? What do we do to mitigate our risk?
We hold their hand the whole way through. We educate them. We become their advisor. We connect them with wholesalers to find good deals. And I tell them right away, listen, any deal you have, call me. Let me run the numbers for you. Right? I wouldn't want to put you in a bad position. And that's the wonderful thing I love about WeLend. We don't generate bad loans. Right? We don't want our borrowers to take on bad debt.
Of course.
So no matter what type of deal we're getting into, we look at the deal as if we're buying it.
Correct.
Right? Because
we have to underwrite it,
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
Sometimes we underwrite the deal more than the borrower does.
100%.
And why is that? Send it to us just to kind of get our input on it.
Yeah.
And
why
then they
is
decide
that?
whether they want to move into it.
Because not only we look at these deals, right, all day long, every day, but we invest in deals ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? So we understand, hey, if I'm not going to buy this deal, why would I tell you to buy it? I don't want a bad loan. Because I want returning business. Majority of our business is returning business.
Actually, 68% of our business is returning borrowers. And there's a reason why. Not only returning borrowers, but we're returning brokers too. So that is a huge, huge value that we provide to, especially inexperienced novice investors. I remember when I was a fix and flipper, especially starting out, I used to call my hard money lender. Even if I didn't need a hard money loan, I would still take $100,000 from him. Why? Because I knew he was able to underwrite the deal alongside me. But most importantly, now I had like 3 attorneys reviewing our documents, our title, and so on, because not only did I have my attorney, I had the title company's attorney, and now I have the lender's attorney reviewing. And there's been so many instances where the buyer's attorney didn't catch on to something, but our attorney did, right? And thankfully to our attorneys who have been doing an amazing job on that front. You did also mention foreclosure bailouts, right? Bailouts in general. It's not only foreclosure bailouts, it's bailouts in general.
Defaults, maturity defaults, technical defaults, so people with bad credit.
Right.
Like I did a default.
I actually had a scenario come into on my desk today, but go ahead.
I did a bailout loan for an investor. He was current on his mortgage.
Right.
Everything was good. He wasn't in default, but unfortunately, due to a nasty divorce, he had like a 550 credit score.
Right.
And I said, look, and he was looking to refinance his property.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I have a program for you. It's a foreclosure bailout program. He goes, oh, no, I'm not in foreclosure. Hear me out.
It just sounds, it sounds bad. We're going to change the name on that.
I started calling it the high risk loan.
Okay.
Or the rescue capital loan.
Rescue capital, right. Structured capital, right?
Exactly.
It's opportunity type of capital. It's interesting capital.
Right. So it's a wide variety of different features, right? Yeah. So one, you could be in a maturity default. You could be in a technical default. And what is a maturity default and technical default? Let's say you have a current lender right now that gave you a 1-year term or a 5-year term, and now they're calling the note, right? They don't want to extend the loan, or they cannot extend. Maybe they have liquidity issues and they need to get their money back. If you don't pay off the loan by a certain date, they'll put you into a default. Right. But you're good. You pay on time. So you come to us, we'll look at the asset, we'll give you a 12-month term loan, we'll refinance you and offer you rescue capital for 12 months and allow you to either reposition your asset or sell the property.
Right. And a lot of times if a default is triggered, it's really hard to get refinanced anywhere.
Nobody wants to touch it.
No agency lender wants to touch it. No conventional lender wants to touch it. So I actually had a scenario that came on my desk today. New Jersey, mixed-use property, Jersey City. Beautiful piece of property. I mean, the guy bought it in 2017 for $280,000. Granted, he put about $500,000 worth of work into it. And the property today, as is where it is worth right around $1.2 million. He has a loan for $580,000 with a lender that I know that did a lot of mixed-use term loans. They're no longer doing it, right? For whatever reason, they have capital constraints, like you mentioned earlier. And he was really betting on them refinancing his loan. They're no longer extending his loan. They're not willing to refinance his loan. He has almost, $600,000 of equity built into the deal today. He's like, look, every single month they're clipping me at 2% default. Right? I need to get out of the situation. He had good credit. He no longer has good credit because now they defaulted him. But he's saying, look, just give me $650,000, pay off my lender, cover my closing costs. I'm not looking for any cash out. All I want to do is pay off my bank, get a good 8 to 12 months, good pay history, and then ultimately refinance, right? And that was my question. Is like, all right, I'm going to give you $650,000. I'm going to be at around 55, 58% LTV. I'm comfortable, right? I don't mind doing that. But then how are you going to pay me out, right? And I just wanted to hear, and this came to me from a broker, a New Jersey broker. Love the guy. He's been doing a lot of business with us. And he basically said, Ruben, he jumped in. He said, Ruben, my thing here is I need a good 12 months pay history. And once I have that, I'm going to be able to take you out with another lender, give him a term loan so that he can actually go out and restart, right? And that's kind of what we're giving borrowers, right? Is the ability to not only make money, but to save the money that they've worked so hard to develop.
And the good thing on that rescue capital program is that we'll even bake in 12 months of interest payments into the loan. So no matter what, you don't have to pay for anything. And once that 12 month comes, we'll give you a 12-month VOM, showing that you have a great pay history. And you don't have to worry about the property.
On time every month. I love it.
That's it.
You also mentioned condo conversions.
Yeah.
I know we've done a bunch of that in Brooklyn. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about how we're
Condo
structuring
conversions,
those
man, are amazing. You're literally creating value from thin air.
Thin air, exactly.
Thin air, because it's one thing buying a multifamily asset, rehabbing it, and selling it. You'll raise the value 40, 50, 60%, right? Yeah. But when you're buying a building and converting it to condos and selling it by unit, you've actually increased the value from 200 to 300% on average minimum.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. We should be doing condo conversions. What the hell are we thinking?
We got to find the good deals, man.
It's hard to come by.
It's hard to come by.
So then how do we structure those deals? And again, I ask these questions as though I don't know, but I want our listeners and our viewers to kind of hear this. But how do we structure these deals? Because they're selling the condos individually, right? Once they develop them. So they have to pay us out on every single one. How do we structure it to make sure that we're not stopping them from selling each loan on each condo on an individual basis while still being able to repay us? How do we do it?
So as long as you let us know in advance that you're doing a condo conversion before we close on the deal, we could set it up where we will offer you partial lien releases on each unit. Yeah. So if you're telling me, look, I'm going to do this, 4 condos, I'll sell it off. In your loan docs, you'll have a clause for a partial lien release.
Exactly. Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Very simple. So as they sell the condo, we give each condo an individual value based on what the borrower is telling us. And as that specific condo is sold, they repay us based on what the value we put out to every
We actually just closed the deal a couple of months ago in Massachusetts. Yeah. In Cambridge. Yeah. 3 blocks away from Harvard University.
Love it.
Investor bought the property for almost was like $1.5 million.
Nice.
He put probably another $1.5 million into rehab. And he's selling each condo, it's 4 condos for $1 million a condo.
I love it.
He's going to be in for $3 million, and he's selling it for about $4 million easy.
Can't go wrong with that.
12-month term, making $1 million. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So it's amazing about what value we bring to the borrowers, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So we talked about a lot. There is one thing that I did want to make sure to touch on. And that was our new program for new investors, right? New borrowers who are just starting to enter the space. They want to get their feet wet.
Yeah,
and
it's an amazing program.
From what I'm hearing is that we can go up to 90% of the borrower's purchase
Don't let
price.
everybody know, man.
The secret between us.
This is between us, guys.
So we'll go up to 90%
we will.
of the borrower's purchase price, regardless of whether they have experience.
Correct.
But putting back
certain restrictions.
So that's where I want to get to, right? I'm going to put back the hat on from a perspective of being a fiduciary to our investors, right? What do we need to see? What do we need to make sure we have? And how do we mitigate the risk to a novice new investor by giving them 90% of the purchase price?
So first things first is we want to see somebody with strong credit history.
Right.
Even though credit is not the main deciding factor for us, however, if you want to achieve that 90% on your first fix and flip, we want to see you have strong trade lines.
True trade lines, yeah.
True trade, like mortgages, car notes, stuff that you paid off. And a FICO of at least, I would say 740, which is, doable.
Yeah.
Second criteria would be the rehab, right? We wouldn't want a new investor to get into a full gut rehab, right? And for a few reasons. Not that we don't want to give them that money. No, it's just we know as a new investor, you might come across certain challenges that as a new investor, you might not have the resources to overcome those challenges. Whether it's stop work orders, whether it's violations, whether it's your contractor walking out on you. I mean, how many horror stories have you heard that a new investor gave $40,000 deposit and then the contractor is gone?
See you later.
So we want to keep that rehab budget like under $75K. Right? Cosmetic work.
Yeah.
Granted, in New York, $75K is probably just a couple of bathrooms, a kitchen, and some doors and some floors.
Oh, man. Welcome to New York.
But this is where the common sense logic of WeLend kicks in, right? We look at the full scope of the deal. Where is it located? Are we comfortable with the asset? Do we like the asset? It has to be in a major metro area, right? If it's in Brooklyn, we'll do it all day. Queens, all day long. That's our backyard. However, New Jersey, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, major MSAs, we'll do it.
That's important.
Yeah, and we look at the full picture, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're looking at, right? We want to see the full picture. We want to understand what exactly are you doing. If you're coming to us with a strong, solid plan, best believe you're going to have a strong, solid lender behind you.
So there's a lot of risk mitigating tools that we're essentially implementing to make sure that regardless of who the borrower is, we are securing our investor capital.
Oh, 100%. That's top of the list.
Right.
That's the top of the list, because without their capital,
right.
we can't do much.
Where are we going from here?
We can't do much. So we need to make sure, like for instance, when I was 19, I was in the optical business, and I was working in Coxco Optical. And when I came to the interview, the first thing they said to me, rule number 1 of Costco, make sure our shareholders are happy.
Wow.
If you go to Costco...
What's Costco's share now? What's their stock price now?
Don't ask me numbers, man. Come on. we're doing a podcast right now. But that's why when you buy something from Costco, right? A piece of bread, a loaf of bread, and you eat 80% of it, you could return it, they'll take it back. Why? God forbid a client will write a bad review. Right? Because they don't want to affect their capital, their shareholders. They want to make sure. So we have that same mindset. Right? So before we give a loan out, we need to make sure it's our money safe, right? Who the borrower is, right? We'll do a background check. We want to make sure that you're not a wanted fugitive.
Right.
We want
you
to make
don't have
sure
any financial crimes.
Financial crimes right away is a no-go, right?
Foreclosures, any significant criminal activity.
Absolutely.
Try to stay away from that.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, we're not dealing with a few $100 over here.
Yeah. And I'm just curious, all right, a borrower, let's just say, let's set aside the novice investor. A borrower comes to us and says, I have this amazing experience. This is what I've done. I've done the past 2 years, I've done 15 flips. Here are the addresses. What do we do with that? Do we just leave it there and just take their word on it?
No, absolutely not. We actually cross-reference every single address.
Right.
So if it's in the tri-state area, we have databases, public records that we could actually go in and see who signed the deed, who was on the entity, where was that entity registered. However, if it's somewhere, let's say in Texas or in California, where we don't really have access to their national database, we'll request, entity documents, a HUD from when you
verify
closed,
that they were in fact
an operating
involved,
agreement. Yeah, show me some documents. You said you did 15 properties, great. Show me proof that you actually did it. And the wonderful part about it is you only do it once. Right. You do it once as a first-time borrower with us, but next time around, all I need on your next deal is your contract and entity docs.
So that's actually a very good point. So on a general time frame, we work on about 7 to 10 day time frame to fund a deal for a first-time borrower with Wheeland.
Correct.
But I know of situations where we funded deals in less than 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, definitely under 36 hours.
12 hours was our fastest.
Amazing. I love it. Why? How do we do that? What makes us so different and flexible to be able to execute for a borrower to close in under, like you said, 12 hours? How does it possible?
So I'll give you an example. We actually had a borrower that got stood up by an investor that was supposed to help him purchase a property that had a TOE on it, and he had to close that day. Something happened the night before. The guy said, listen, I don't have the money for you. I'm sorry, figure it out. The guy called us at 7:30 in the morning.
And this was a returning borrower that we've done deals with and so on.
Correct. Correct. He wanted to go the route of, the private investor route, thinking that, maybe, because of closing costs or whatever it is.
I don't understand why people even want to do that, because a private investor, bringing them as an equity holder, you're paying them at the very least 50%, right? If they're coming in with the equity, you're paying them 50% of the equity, whereas you could just pay Wheeland, an interest rate based on what you borrow from us, right?
You know what they say in Russian? There's a saying, up until you don't smack your head against the wall, you won't understand the wall is there. So it's a similar concept here, It's like up until they don't realize that, hey, look, there's better options over here. So the guy came to us at 7:30 in the morning, title in hand, appraisal in hand, docs in hand. Granted, the property was in Queens, right? We knew the property, we understood it's our background. We literally got on the phone with the attorneys, the title company, we made sure everything was clear. The deal closed and funded that same day before 6 p.m.
Love it. Love it.
And after that day, that borrower has been with us.
I know we've closed deals in under 24 hours. I didn't know that we closed a deal in under 12 hours. That's unreal.
Yeah, same day. I had another deal. I actually...
And that's why, and I'm sorry to interject, that's why it's important for a borrower to work with a private lender, have that established relationship, and have multiple private, don't only have one.
No.
Have multiple private lenders that you actually work with, because you just never know, right? If you didn't answer that call at 7 o'clock in the morning and he was only working with you, he would have been stuck, right? But if you had multiple private lenders that you've already actually done business with, you already have that established relationship with, you have that flexibility to be able to maneuver in situations, whether it's good or bad. you were going to mention the second scenario.
Right. So, and I definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
So that diversification is key.
Critical.
Because at the end of the day, there's not one lender that does everything.
Right.
And that one lender that says he does everything is full of it, right?
Correct.
So you should always have, different types of lenders on deck. And private investors are good, but the problem with private investors is eventually
they're unreliable. Listen, they might be on vacation, they might be away,
their money
they may
is
have
tied
committed
up. Exactly. With us,
you and I think alike.
Our problem is what? We have too much capital. We need to dispose of it as much as possible.
It's so funny you said that. I was looking at my Instagram and I found someone that I connected with a while ago. And I was like, let me send him a message just to kind of see how he's doing. And I sent him a message, and it turns out we actually met through Instagram. And I looked at some of the messages that we had on Instagram, and one of my messages to him was like, "Hey, take my money, right? Call me, let me do a deal for you.
Exactly.
Take my money." So
Exactly.
it's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So look, I think this was great. I think there's a lot that was shared, but I think one thing that I really want to touch on is our winning team, right? You've obviously joined us going on to almost 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
Why WeLend? Why should someone consider joining WeLend as a loan originator? What makes us stand out? What can they do? How can that bring them value? I want you to kind of tell us a little bit more about the culture at WeLend and why it would make sense to join WeLend.
Absolutely. So the culture at WeLend is not like any other office. In what sense? You could consider us a mom and pop shop on a national scale.
Exactly.
Right? So we have all the tools, and we present all the tools for future loan officers or account executives to come in here and just make it.
Whether they have experience or not, right? We don't care, right? We want.
If you're a salesman, you're a salesman.
We're just hungry.
Exactly.
That's it. We want people that have that belly,
that fire
in their belly to just.
If you're a salesman, you could sell water to a dolphin.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's all about what you want for yourself, right? Do you want to be in that 9 to 5, 8 hour a day, $70K a year bracket?
You're not welcome here.
That's not for you.
Yeah.
But if you're the type of guy that come here and says, hey, I don't care about your salary. What's my commission?
Right.
What am I making if I close these deals?
Exactly.
So you're telling me if I close 10 deals a month, I can make X amount, and if I close 20 deals a month, I'll make double that?
And it's totally doable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I need sharks.
Yeah. So we don't really care if they have experience or not,
No,
right? We
we'll
just
train.
want them to have the drive. You'll train them. You'll provide the service. And I think you said it best that, there's a lot of other groups out there, companies, whether it's a private lender or anything else, where you're never able to speak or even see one of the founders or one of the people that are making the decisions day in,
Our
day
company,
out.
the CEO, never leaves us. We see him everywhere.
Poor guys. I mean, I'm not sure if that was a
But
good
you know
thing
what?
or a bad thing.
But that was the best thing. Like for me personally,
we were able to give you that experience that
100%.
we've gained. Right?
I'm living proof that you can make it here with no experience.
Exactly.
I came here from selling glasses.
Yeah.
And now I sell money.
Right. I love it.
Right? And how did we start? If you remember, I was sitting right next to you.
Yeah, side by
as
side.
you were making calls.
Yeah.
And the
I was
beginning
still
of
doing origination
everything
at
you
that
were
time.
writing down. I'm like, Ruben, what is that? Ruben, what is this? What are you asking?
And I remember you
that's how we
actually
learned.
closed your first deal in like 2 weeks.
Because it was one of my friends, I remember. I
Right,
brought one of my personal friends in. I came
In
to
the
him after the
Bronx.
first
I'll
day.
never forget that deal, by the way.
As a matter of fact,
He told me he was going to renovate. So funny.
He said he was going to renovate.
He's going to renovate the property. I mean, he's probably going to be listening to this, and he knows who he is. He's a dear
God
friend.
bless you, man.
We
love
you. He actually turned investor. He was a borrower, and he turned an investor into our fund. But I'll never forget this. He's like, I'm just going to do a gut renovation. I'm like, all right, cool. Gut renovation, we'll give you the money for it. We funded the deal. 2 weeks in, you got your check. I mean, you were super happy, rock star, the whole nine. And all of a sudden, he calls me. He's like, all right, I need a construction job. I'm like, cool. I'm going to drive by just to see what you've done. So he's like, okay, come drive by. I'm like, shit.
Sounds
like,
a little
why did
weird.
he just hesitate and delay that home, right? I'm like, all right, let me just go out there and see. Turns out, he demolished the building.
Yeah.
He literally took it down. He didn't renovate it. He took it down.
But from his perspective,
it made more sense.
It made more sense because he was a builder.
The walls, yes,
right? He's like, I'm not gonna build a second floor on a first floor that's rotten.
Exactly.
But I told him, I said, dude, I don't mind.
Just
Let
tell
me
us.
know.
Just tell us. Exactly.
I'm not
Don't
here.
make me
I'm your advisor.
And I'll never forget. I came there and I'm like, I can't believe there's no building on site.
Yeah.
Where's my
collateral? Moses called me screaming. He's like, "Where's my collateral? I'm foreclosing on this guy."
But I
said, "Dude, this is a family friend.
Yeah,
I have to see him. Please."
He did right. He did right. He said, "Look, I don't need any construction until I bring the building back up, the whole nine." And within, I think, like under 30 days, he got it was impressive.
Framing, windows, roof, everything was in. Because that's what we told him. Call us back when we have when we have a structure.
Never forget that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. So it's impressive that you were able to close a deal in less than 2 or 3 weeks. You've made a killing. This is your full-time job. You don't really do anything else. Yeah, you flip here and there alongside some of our borrowers. I've seen you do that. I do that, right? But this is really all that you do. So would you recommend to any person who has that fire in their belly to just fucking crush it?
Absolutely.
To join the Wheeland team?
And I'll tell you why. Because what you put in in this business is what you will get out.
Yeah.
Because on a salary or a 9-to-5 job, you could work as hard as you possibly can. You have a cap.
And you know what
over here, there's no limits.
Yeah.
There's no limits. I mean, I got a call last week. A guy needs $1 million loan, but I need it closed in 5 days. Boom. Closed, done, funded.
Love it.
That check would have never came in if you were on a salary.
Where else can you get a lender to fund a deal in 5 days or get a commission paid to you in under 5 days? I mean, it's impressive, right?
I don't know much places, to be completely honest with you. I really don't.
Listen, I mean, this was great. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you want to add? I know we've had so much to discuss, so many things. I mean, we have a whole paper here.
It's not even joking.
Can I show it? We
had one.
To be honest with you, we didn't even look at any of this.
Because what you said in the beginning, we'll just talk.
We have so much experience.
I got over-prepared.
We've seen this so many times. But I think the bottom line is that, I mean, seeing what you're doing with the sales team, right? You're not only a friend to them, you're also coaching them. I've seen you jump on calls, with borrowers for the loan originator, right? To help them close that deal.
Absolutely.
You're training them to be able to show them, okay, this is how you're going to convince this guy to take these terms, and this is why these terms make sense for him. Because a lot of times the borrowers don't understand, why would I take a loan from Wheeland? And sometimes the answer is because we can provide you also a DSCR product right after. We're going to structure the loan in a way where in 3.5 months, as soon as you renovate the property, you show me at the very least projections or leases and the property is done, we're pushing you into a DSCR product. And we already have all your documents here to be able to do that for you. So something that would probably take a lot more time to do in his time, right? In terms of having to provide the documents, go through that process again. We'll do it for you on your behalf. All you're going to have to do is just show up to the closing and sign documents.
Absolutely.
Not only for the bridge, but also for the takeout and a term loan. And I think that, that value proposition for our borrowers is very important, but also the value that you bring to our loan originators by showing them what it takes to close a deal, but most importantly, showing them exactly how to actually make money.
100%.
And that's the most important thing.
So want to touch base on that with the borrowers, right? Besides the fact that we can have multiple programs and that we can refinance them into a 30-year loan once they're completed with their project, we do everything in-house.
Right.
We don't outsource any of our work.
Right.
We underwrite in-house, we process in-house, we even have closings in
this
conference
room.
Right
here, this conference room right here.
We have closings here. So
no one sees the bar behind us, but that bar is emptying
that's
out.
after hours. But that's also another value that we bring to our borrowers is that when you give us a deal, our salespeople will actually carry this deal from inception to the processors, to the underwriters, and give you live updates, right? When you deal with a loan officer, you're not going to call an 800 number. You have the cell phone of the account executive with you all the time.
So just so you know, at Wheeland, we have no landlines.
No landlines.
Cell phones only. To have landlines. I would never have a landline. Every single one of our loan originators has a cell phone. They're required to have it on them at all times, unless they are, unless they're preoccupied with other things,
Things
personal
happen,
things.
right.
Otherwise, you're answering the phone.
Correct.
Right?
And you always get a live person.
And that doesn't only apply to our loan originators. That applies to our underwriters, our construction draw department, our servicing department, right? We have everything in-house, and everyone is required to always answer their phone.
Correct.
So I think you had it best. And I think the other really important part as to why someone should be joining our team is that you will always see one of the founders 100%. In the company, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm the first one in, but generally you're the first one in. You usually beat me to it.
You give me too much credit right
so
now.
Today I beat you though. I beat everyone today. I was the first one in today.
I don't even think you went home. I think I saw you wearing the shirt yesterday.
I was the last one out. I'm usually the last one out.
But that's the life of a CEO, man.
There's no other option.
There's no other option because this is your baby, right? And
it's all of our babies, right?
It.
I mean, every single one of us are invested in one fashion or another. So I think it's very important where you're working in an environment where everyone has the same sentiment, where everyone has the same drive, but you're also one person or directly involved with one of the people that have actually founded the company and can give you decisions, and not only decisions, jump on a call with you.
Absolutely.
Not only jump on a call with you, but give you the guidance that you need to be able to close a deal. And I think that's critical.
Yeah. And besides that also, me as a sales manager, I'm on the sales floor.
Right.
I'm not in an office or in a cubicle somewhere in a corner where I don't see my team.
I'm in a cubicle or in a corner office sometimes,
but there's times that you join us on the floor.
It's a very good point.
You join us on the floor.
You have to.
You have to.
So I, from time to time, jump around from department to department, right?
Just to make sure everyone is doing their work.
Sometimes I'll hang out, for half the day at the underwriting department. The next time I'll hang out half the day at the servicing department. I'll hang out at the sales department.
Yep.
I've been dedicating a lot of time for that. So I think that's very important.
That's the only way you really see and feel the company, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because at the end of the day, anybody can run a company. The question is it being run efficiently?
Exactly.
Right? Is it being done the right things?
Systems, processes.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, everybody can just show up to work, put in their hours, and leave.
Check in and check out, yeah.
But what are we doing, right? What's going on?
Yeah.
What are you guys working on? Show me what you're working on.
Show me what you got, baby.
And that's also the wonderful thing about us is that we're involved.
Yeah.
Right? When you come to work with Wieland, we don't just give you a phone number, paper leads, and say, call me if you have a deal.
No way.
No.
It's not
we set you up with a CRM. Right. We set you up with an email, with a phone number. Be an
arm and a leg, by the way.
But it's the best thing.
It works.
It is the best thing. Before the CRM, we were doing Excel spreadsheets, and we had Post-its, I remember, all over our desks.
Yes.
Now, anywhere I am in the world,
yeah,
any vacation, anything, all I need is my laptop.
Exactly.
I have my laptop, I open it up, I have my phone system on there, I have my CRM on there, I have my meetings on there, I have everything on there.
I love it.
And that's the wonderful thing about being at Wieland.
So we provide the tools, we provide the leads, we provide the resources, the guidance,
there's no reason why you cannot make it here.
And I know
we
trainings. We have
trainings,
sales meetings
every
on a weekly,
Monday, Wednesday, we have sales meetings. Throughout the week, every day, we'll talk with our account executives, or we'll introduce new products, or we'll show new ways of selling a certain product, right? That support is always there.
Critical.
Absolutely. That's the only way.
Jeff, this was amazing. I hope everyone enjoyed it. There's a lot more to come.
Absolutely.
How can people reach out to you for those listening that want to actually join us, or if they have a loan that they need a pricing on, or a broker needs to get some pricing on a loan, how can they reach you?
Email jeffs@wielandllc.com. You can call me at 347-251-7770. Social media, Jeff Safi. I mean, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
All it is
it's hard not to.
You have to take the initiative and actually reach out to us if we didn't reach out to you first, because we have a great lead generation software as well.
We're working hard for that.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me, Ruben.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys soon.